Mother Claire, the word obedience, when applied to adults, is usually considered distasteful in today's society. However, in spiritual disciplines from all over the world, a student's obedience to their teacher is usually considered very essential. Why do you think this is so, and how do you see practices being this practice being a positive thing?
In fact, in Catholicism and in most Christian traditions where someone takes vows, obedience is one of the vows that they take. This very same thing holds true between a yogic master and their student, between a Sufi master and their student. Anywhere in the world, obedience is generally a item that cannot be avoided or skipped if one wishes to be taught by a teacher. Why is this so? How can this be positive? There is such a gap between the consciousness of the student and the teacher when the student begins upon the path, that if the teacher had to convince the student intellectually of everything that, every step of the way and everything that they need to do, if they needed to tangle with the intellect and the emotions of the student to convince them to do what the teacher knows is essential, one, just practically it'd take way too long. And if the student keeps going, well, no, I don't want to do this one and I don't want to do that one, when the teacher knows precisely that the student needs to do this or that in order to come through the changes that they say they want. So it would actually get enormously in the way of the teacher being able to progress in a smooth and efficient way. So the teachers from the beginning go, if you're wanting me to be your teacher, you are stating that you recognize that I have something to teach you. There's something I have mastered that you have not, and you want me to teach you. So can we just make an agreement? You're going to go along with what I say so we can efficiently help you move and grow and stretch to become that which you have stated you want to. Now, an enormous amount of trust is needed there. We sometimes say that trust is the longest word in the English language. Yes, you do need to trust, but think of it this way. If you decide, if you really want a spiritual teacher, but you decide not to have one because you could never trust that much, well, you're definitely then not going to achieve your goal of growth and development because you don't have anybody helping you, or you're not going to grow that much. On the other hand, if there's even a 50% chance that the teacher will be able and will truthfully and with virtue and purity teach you and raise you up, if there's just a 50% chance, you're already way ahead from not daring to try at all. So you have a 50% chance of it working out. And if it doesn't work out, well, you're just back to where you started. While if you don't take a teacher because you're too afraid to trust, you've missed out altogether. So I would recommend, if you really want to be taught, that you do the best you can in scouting out a real teacher, one who holds integrity, who lives as they teach, and then take the dramatically radical step of entrusting yourself to them and agreeing to do whatever you're told for the amount of time that you're in training. If at any point you're asked to do anything that's unethical or immoral, definitely don't do it. That would include having sex with the teacher or anyone else. That is wrong under all circumstances. If it includes that you have to give up everything you have, if it's an unreasonable demand on your monies, on yourself, then you need to look at whether this is all right. On the other hand, if it's a submitting to learn, just like if you go to school and you take a course, you don't go in going, well, I'll see if I'm going to believe what this physics professor says. You go in going, he's a professor of physics. I'm starting. I'm going to believe what he says. If you can start with that, you may indeed have a chance at having the enormous blessing of being in a spiritual student-teacher relationship and learning at a pace that you could not have imagined.